Scrappy peeps, welcome to my channel. Susanna here today for Scrapbooking Boys to Men, and today is the letter K, and I am doing keen on, and then he is keen on Keens. Keens are a brand of shoe that we have here in the US, and he is particularly keen on a particular subset of this type of shoe, and so that is what I am scrapbooking. So I was inspired by the border strip, that there, and this is the Bug Explorer collection by Bella. And so I was looking at all of those strips and I thought it'd be really cool to make a layout based on all of those strips. I only end up using a few of those strips, and I decided that I liked all of the pattern papers, and so I am actually also stash busting. So this is something that I picked up at Tuesday morning, and so I am busting through this as well as throwing in a few goodies from Ellie Studio, the labels. I like to use their labels. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of trying to create a scene. I am trying to create a scene. And so I want a balance of colors and the scene. So you have the sky up the top, and then you have the grass down below, and then you have the filler between the sky and the grass. So you've got a couple of bugs and some stripes, and that yellow for that pop of color. And in the strips, the borders, I saw those jars, and I thought, oh, it would be fun to do a layer of jars at the bottom of the page, or like 3 jars, a row of jars, or maybe the jars up the top, and then I would fussy cut the jars. But then I saw in the 4x6 cards the actual jar itself with the little centipede crawling down the side of the jar, and I thought, oh, I have to put that peeking out from behind the photos. And even though it's irrelevant, refer to the last video that I shared and my difficulty with irrelevancy, it is a boy thing, and so it goes with the grasshoppers, which are green, which are his favorite color, and so I can find relevancy to it in this particular case anyway. So I'm just continuing to put different length strips as well as different width strips just for some variety. I am going to, that blue one that I'm about to pick up, I am going to banner it. It is very dominant from a color perspective, and so by bannering it, that makes it stand out a little bit more. And I will off camera actually banner that stripe that I have there as well, just because it ends up being that ends up being the only one that's bannered, and so I feel like I need to have one more to offset that a little bit. So again, just looking for variety of depth, color, shape, and size here as I move down the page. And I know I don't want to go the full way down the page because I know I want to have a little grounding strip at that bottom left-hand corner there to just offset all of that. So I went to my sewing machine and I stitched either through the center of some of them or the top and the bottom, again just to add a little bit more visual interest to the page, and also to be able to add a little bit more depth to the page. I am folding up some of the edges, especially those bannered ones, the ones that I stitched through the center of. So I have a picture of all of these Keens in the shoe rack. We have a shoe rack in the laundry room, and that's where he has his, there's only 4 pair there, but I know he has more than 4 pair of them. And then I coerced him into going outside to wearing a pair of them so that I could get that for my layout. And then I'm going to journal on this underneath the photos in that white space there. So here is something that I'm going to change. So I wanted to back one of the 2 photos just to pop your attention to it, and I've backed it in that grid there, but it's too light and I feel like I need more color. I feel like I haven't pulled enough orange into the layout, so off camera where I get a different perspective of the page, I am going to change that to the orange that was in that 4x6 journal card. I'm not sure if you saw that, and it looks much better, and you'll see that in the close-ups. So I fussy cut one of the clouds out of the piece of paper, and I'm going to pop that up at the top. This is a very linear layout, and so I want to break up that continuous straight line, those horizontal lines a little bit, and I like the way that that cloud just offset off the edge matches the way that you have the offset of the photos down below. So now I want to draw a few of the elements that are up above, down below, just to sort of ground the page there. So now I've got a few labels. I have all of my labels and leftover elements from Ellie's Studio sorted in this tea bag container, and they're sorted by color. My daughter did it for me. So I've got green in one little drawer, yellow in another drawer, so I've got a few of those labels to just draw some of the colors that are up above, down below, to tie the two together. So I'm going to stick with that green label, and kind of, you can see my hands going, I'm not sure about this. I know I want something over that green label, but I'm not sure what. And I wasn't finding any sayings that really were really relevant to this. So in the search for something, I find this that says smile, and I am going to, I pushed it too far back behind the photo. I'm actually going to remove that, but I do find this red label that I really love. It just pulls a little bit more of the red into the layout because there's nothing actually in there other than in the stripe up the top. So that pulls that color down the bottom there. And I want something yellow so that I create the visual triangle of the yellow jar on the right hand side to the yellow stripe on the left hand side, and then I need a third element of yellow there. That smile is going to get moved. It's going to be moved to that cloud that's popped up there. I need room for the title, and that just ends up being in the way there. I do like it there, but once I put the orange behind the photo, I actually don't need it. That's one of the stickers from the collection, and so the arrow, and so I just liked the way that it's not one of the colors that's in the collection, but it works well. So I pulled some letter stickers. I knew I was going to need white on top of all of these letters. I really like the white on top of the blue. It's easier to read, but my difficulty and my struggle here was on. I really wanted those Bella Boulevard letters there, the blue ones, but you couldn't see them blue on blue. So then I pulled it, pulled out a scrap piece of that grid paper that I had used behind the photo, and that looked cool, but it just ended up being too big. It broke up the linear movement, the horizontal movement of those stripes, and I didn't like that. I wanted that continuousness of color to the left-hand side of the photos. So these are forever old stickers, and so they are definitely going to need some adhesive. There's no way they are going to stay stuck in my album stored vertically if I don't use liquid adhesive. So I'm using some Ultra Bond from ThermoWeb to stick those down with, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to do with the on. And what I end up doing is I just use a green label from Ellie's Studio, and just with a black pen I just write on there, and you'll see that better in the close-ups. I think I'm going to find that green label here, but I edited this video a while ago and I'm not sure, but I will tell you this has got to be one of my favorite layouts that I have created lately. It's so simple, and really nothing genius about it in horizontal strips, right? Just like the border strips that a lot of the collections these days contain. But yeah, that was what inspired this. I think it's the colors that I like. I really like the cooler colors there. So there's that green label that I was referencing earlier. The letter stickers are not going to fit on there, especially not blue, which is why I resort to the pen. See that star in the speech bubble? I really loved that too, but again, it ruined the flow that I've got going in the layout. If I were to have used it, it would have just been because I wanted to use it, not because it made sense in the flow of the layout. So I referenced earlier looking for a third yellow thing. That's it. It's perfect. It just says enjoying. I'll put a little blue heart sticker on later, and that is going to wrap up my layout. So I'm not sure if Christine is participating in this series anymore or not, but be sure to come back on the 2nd and 4th Friday of every month as I work my way through the alphabet scrapbooking masculine topics, using each letter as my inspiration for what it is that I will be. So come back in 2 weeks for the letter L. I know what it is that I'm going to do, and I'm excited to share that with you. I hope you're doing well. Take care. Come back again soon.